I am Durga D. Poudel, professor at University of Louisiana at Lafayette, Louisiana, USA. Before I start my talk, I would like to thank NIBLS Capital Limited for facilitating this talk program, and I would also like to thank all audience and media persons for their attendance. I was born and raised in a small family farm in Thanau district, Nepal. I got my ISc from Institute of Agriculture and Animal Science in Rampur, Chitwan, Nepal. Then I got my bachelor degree in agriculture from University of Agriculture, Faisalabad, Pakistan. I got my master's degree in natural resource management from AIT, Bangkok in Thailand. Then I got my PhD degree in soil science from University of Georgia in Athens, Georgia, USA. I had opportunities for working in agriculture and related sector in Nepal. Similarly, had opportunities working in different agriculture in Asia, including in Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines, and now I am very engaged in US agriculture for the last 25 years. So today I like to bring this perspective of our own nation over here, as well as some other international agriculture in the region, as well as USA and maybe Canada also, as the Western agricultural systems there and marketing. With this our national vision for agricultural development has always been self-reliant, back from 1950s all the way to current agricultural development strategy. And the government has always been striving for self-reliant, competitive, inclusive agriculture that contributes to economic growth, livelihood, and food and nutrition to the citizen, as well as it helps on the food sovereignty as well. So with this noble vision, agricultural development strategy that started in 2015 to 2035 basically divides these programs into flagship programs, support programs, and other programs. And it is important to look at these flagship programs that ADS, this Food and Nutrition Security Program, Decentralized Science, Technology, and Education Program, Value Chain and Innovation, and Agro-Entrepreneurship Program. So that Agro-Entrepreneurship Program is one of the four flagship programs identified by ADS for the next 20 years in the country. And several core programs includes in relation to governance, productivity, commercialization, and market competitiveness also, which closely relates to this agro-entrepreneurship. And there are many specialized commodity programs in the country. So with this, the major agricultural program today include this Prime Minister Agricultural Modernization Project, Zero Hunger Challenge National Action Plan, MSNP, and of course this 5-year plan. With this, the Prime Minister Agricultural Modernization Project is basically the government's driven program, whereas this Zero Hunger Challenge program comes with this 2012 Rio 20 conference, and then MSNP program is the program developed by the Planning Commission based on this Millennium Development Goal, and then the 5-year plans, of course, they continue in Nepal with this every 5-year plan.
Now, a brief on this Prime Minister Agriculture Modernization Project. It's a pretty ambitious plan in the sense the coverage the program likes to um, undertake, dividing, developing these blocks with a super zone with 1,000 hectares, um, zone 500, block 100, and pocket 10 hectares. And then these are the initial numbers. And after 10 years, this program expects to have as many as 15,000 pockets, 1,500 blocks, 300 zones, and 21 super zones for agricultural production. There are, in addition to these major flagship programs, there are several multilateral, bilateral, and other programs in the country. And these programs, many of you might be very familiar or might have been working on them. They include like the CAT supported by World Bank, or those RISMAP, the MPMFP by Asian Development Bank, Kishan project by USAID, Himali project by ADB, and several others, global multi-sectoral projects. They are functional, they are ongoing in this agricultural environment. One thing I like to bring to your attention here is that, very interestingly, if you look at this 5-year plan, from the first 5-year plan to the current of the 14th plan, it's pretty interesting to see the budget. Until the seventh 5-year plan, uh, something went wrong here. Sorry. The seventh 5-year plan, if you see here now, uh, the budget, the seventh 5-year plan annual expenditure projected was 5.8 billion rupees. That is about 30 years ago, 27 years ago. And now, at the end of this first, the 14th plan, 2016-19, the annual expenditure projected is 1,067 billion rupees. So this country has witnessed has operated from about nearly 6 billion rupees in a year to now, by the end of 2019, we have 1,067 billion rupees. So that gives a huge perspective in this country, how the budget has increased, and of course the population increased from 1990 to now, from 150 million to now, let's say, sorry, from 150 crores, almost 50 million to now 30 million, let us say, 3 crores. So almost population double, but the budget, if you see, has skyrocketed tremendously, and this is continuing. Now, with this kind of budget, we expect to have at least, increase on agricultural productivity or growth, increase on food self-sufficiency. But if you look at this trend of agricultural growth, it's almost stagnant. It never goes up. So there is something serious in this country with regard to these budgets, our initiatives, and the growth of agricultural sector. Now, what are the factors? What is driving our agriculture? Why there is stagnant growth? Clearly, some of the factors identified here includes low agricultural labor productivity, low level of adoption of improved technology, low developmental stage, and lower level of commercialization, malnutrition, and similar other factors that we all know about, resulting in low level of agricultural growth or low developmental stage. So, by having stagnated agricultural growth, what is happening to our economy then? Where we have 66% population engaged in agriculture, and agriculture contributes to 1/3 of national GDP, and that sector is stagnated over the past 30 years. So what does that mean? That is a trade gap now. Very serious trade deficits in our economy. And just by looking at this data, 2015, it shows almost $6 billion US trade deficit. But yesterday's economic news says now trade deficit is $10 billion as of now for the last 10 months. So now this country is operating with a trade deficit of $10 billion US. So now we can think about that this country, this kind of trade deficit, overall trade deficit is also reflected on agricultural trade deficit. And what is happening with the agriculture? The most important part over here is the negative trade balance of our agriculture. 64% is with India, 14% with China, and the rest is with other countries. So agricultural growth in this country cannot be separated from Indian market right now. It is so tightly linked. We are very dependent on India for agricultural commodities, and our food product that drives our national trade deficit include petroleum products and agricultural products. And sometimes petroleum products becomes the number one, sometimes agricultural products becomes the number one. These kind of figures really cannot be overlooked from investment point of view. And also, self-reliance in food production is the goal and has been the goal of this country for the last almost 70 years. From 1950s, we can find those in the document. So now there is a big opportunity for investment in agricultural sector, and this is urgent. It's urgent. Why it is urgent? Because back in 1980, this country has $15 million US surplus or income from agricultural export. So 1980 witnessed $15 million surplus. 2002 witnessed $115 million deficit, and now 2019 is getting $2 billion deficit. No country in the world can sustain if you have the agricultural statistics like this, where 66% population is engaged in agriculture, and agriculture still constitutes 1/3 of the GDP. So now there is a widespread concern. All of us in this room, everywhere where we go, agriculture has become a major concern, and we know it will remain a major concern for many years if we don't take any action. In a way, back in 1921, that is Krishi Adda. In 2 years, basically, we should be celebrating our first agricultural institution, Krishi Adda, that was established in 1921. Now it is 2019. So from 1921, another major agricultural institution established was in 1952, that Ministry of Agriculture and Irrigation. And then from 1952, Land Reform Commission comes in 1956, first 5-year plan comes after that, and then Land Cooperatives comes in 1963, that turns into Agricultural Development Bank in 1968. And then I know the planners, ministers, and the bureaucrats, they are in this room. I know Dr. Lonis, I have read his paper, written in 1970s. Professor Madhukar sir, you know his writings. I have reviewed paper from Pashupati Shamsher Davaraj's writings in 70s. And if you go through these all writings and 5-year plans, consistently there is a huge emphasis in agricultural development. But despite all of those, this 18,000 hectare year-round irrigation out of potentially 2.1 or 2.2 million hectare irrigated land means we are lagging behind seriously. Very important issue, because irrigation is still the most important factor for agricultural development, or in other words, it is the major constraint to agricultural production in the country. So now, it is time for us to look at the drivers. What are the drivers of agricultural production, marketing, development? There are 5 drivers, and this is very important to note. Driver 1 is commercialized smallholder mixed farming system. And driver 2 is incentives for farmers, producers, traders, agro-entrepreneurs. The incentives the government gives must directly reach to individual household. Driver 3 is pro-poor market. Driver 4, strategic public investment on infrastructure. And of course, driver 5, policies, laws, programs, etc. I like to draw your attention on these 3 drivers here. Smallholder mixed farming system has been neglected, has been ridiculed. It has been named as subsistence living, outdated agriculture, traditional agriculture, and basically Nepalese never see the value in the planning level for this smallholder mixed farming system in the past 70 years. Our planners always wanted to develop agriculture like in USA or Europe or in Canada, mechanized agricultural farming. That was the dream, but that dream has killed our agriculture. Why? Our agriculture, which is a smallholder mixed farming system, has evolved over the past 5,000, 7,000 years. And with this rugged terrain, small holding, isolated villages, these systems are self-sufficient. That drives the population in this terrain. And what we try to do is that we try to discard this smallholder mixed farming system where you have few cows, few goats, few vegetable plants, few trees, some corn, some rice, and the family is self-subsistent. That system had been sustainable for millennia. But why we rejected them? What we are trying to do, that is the blunder we are making. And now recently, the circular agriculture. I just read in Holland, they came up with the system named circular agriculture, and that's what they are going to implement. What is a circular agriculture? Nothing more than this smallholder mixed farming system. All the resources that goes into the production will come to somewhere as an output, and eventually that will become the input to the system, and the system will continue. So this system were forgotten, and but this is the driver. There are 4 million households in this country with this smallholder mixed farming system, and that many households should be directly touched by agricultural policies and programs, directly. And then the incentives should be directly to these families, to the traders, to the agro-entrepreneurs as an individual. For example, I can give you, if a household does some soil and water conservation practices, if a household does some agro-tourism in their farm, if a farmer does land protection, if a farmer plants some trees in the farm, why don't we give incentives for that? Let's say if a farmer starts with 20 cows as a dairy cows, then government gives 20,000 rupees as the incentives. I can give you one example from Taiwan. When I worked there about 20 years ago or 30 years ago perhaps. In Taiwan, when there was a lot of food, the government discouraged the farmers to produce food. So how did they do it? They came up with a plan. Those farmers who will plant green manure crops in their farm, the green manure crop is kind of a dhaisa, we call it. Once we plant that in the field, it fixes nitrogen and it enhances fertility of the soil. So the government said, okay, if you want to plant dhaisa, green manure crop, we will give you X amount of money. It improves agricultural land as well as the farmer do not lose money by not planting their cereal crops. And of course, this pro-poor market is very, very important because it has been systematic problem in our agricultural system that from smallholder farms, we produce a few cucumber, a few chicken,
a small amount of guava, for example, or a few mangoes, a bag of mangoes, until and unless we design a system that whatever is produced from a small family farm guarantees the market, we cannot really improve our agriculture system because the income will not get to the household. So pro-poor market, for example, government should focus on setting up, let's say, collection center at the basin level or at the valley. So whoever brings whatever commodities, make it guaranteed that commodities will be sold in that collection center. The prices will be taken care now. Price guarantee is very, very important because if the farmers know I am getting this much of price, they will produce. So the main factor here is that the farmers need to have price guarantee, and the same thing, the consumers need to have price control. These two spectrums should be very closely watched, and in between we don't need to care about these intermediaries, bicholias and etc. That is a wrong move. Let bicholia make their money. If we are ready to pay X amount of money for a kg of tomato, and if a farmer is happy for X amount of money for the tomato at the farm, let the bicholia make money there. In fact, China encourages bicholias to market these agricultural commodities, inputs. And finally, the pro-poor market, and then finally comes to this strategic public investment. It should not be the government job to create collection center, to construct collection centers, to construct cold storage. These are the private sector. They can invest money. Private sector even can invest on a small irrigation project. Why not we encourage private sector on those kind of things, and government focus on making big projects like roads, power supply. So government clearly must focus on infrastructural development, international level infrastructural development. And then of course these trades, treaties, policies, these are very important aspects because we have many concerns with our trade, treaties, our markets with India. These 5 drivers really have to be taken care of and follow through in order to rejuvenate our smallholder mixed farming systems and finally bring them to the global national economy and global economy. So now, by realizing this fact, it seems that the government of Nepal has identified cooperatives as one of the 3 pillars of economic prosperity: public, private, and cooperatives. So now the cooperatives are constitutionally established, and now we need to deal with them. In Nepal, there are 34,000 cooperatives now. In 2004, we had 7,000 cooperatives. 34,000 cooperatives have 6.3 million membership. And if you simply do the math, out of 28 million people, 8 million people are outside this country. 6 million people are tied up with cooperatives, 14 million. Maybe another 6-7 million people are less than 18 years old. So that means there are only 2 or 3 millions left who are not tied up on this kind of businesses. So Nepal has a very strong connection to the grassroots through these cooperatives. But the problem with the cooperatives are they are urban based largely. Their outputs are not really guaranteed. It haven't been seen. There are many issues. But cooperatives are quite successful in some other countries. Like India has very powerful cooperative system, as many of you are familiar with. And India has a long history of cooperative development. It started from 1904, whereas we started cooperative from 1956 by having 13 credit cooperatives to support the flood victims in Chitwan. So, a little before that, I think let me take that back, by having ag factory somewhere in London in 1951 or somewhere, I think that was first. Indian cooperatives now, they do very
many different activities, including dairy, textiles, sugar, handlooms, urban banking, and still with a lot of memberships and grassroots connection with 230 million members in over 500,000 cooperatives. Almost every villages of India is connected through the cooperatives. But there are some problems also, like the bureaucratic control, lack of professionalism, political interference, poor administration and management, and over-dependence on governmental assistance. These are the problem of cooperatives there. Now, looking at USA, even in a country of a corporate world, there are nearly 1,800 cooperatives thriving. And if you look at their transactions, $197 billion transaction by these 100 or 1,800 cooperatives. And USA, we can find cooperatives largely in agriculture, three different types of marketing, farm supply, and service. They are very focused to agricultural production, marketing, and farm supplies. So, from these three examples, Nepal's given value or incorporation of cooperatives in the constitution and having 34,000 cooperatives in the ground, India's successful story about cooperatives, and even USA's very promising, very successful story of those cooperatives, it tells us that there are really good opportunities of engaging cooperatives through some businesses to overcome the limitations that cooperatives have and excel in agricultural production or marketing. But in Nepal, even if we have good institutional structure of corporates and cooperatives, our lands are very, very poor. Nepal has very low agricultural productivity. Land productivity is very, very poor. Soil erosion is a major problem. And with this kind of crop, these pictures comes from Nuwakot in Thulokola watershed. And also recently, not only the soil or land resource, water shortage has become a major problem across the landscape of Nepal, everywhere. As a matter of fact, from our study in Thulokola watershed in Nuwakot, we found 12% of springs completely dried up in past 10 years. In a small watershed, 12% of springs have dried up. 73% of springs have decreased flow, and they are in the process of drying up. So that means only 15% of springs still have water there. So that means from a landscape, families have to come down. They cannot stay in these mountains, in these villages, if there is no water source. So agriculture is also a big problem. If there is no water, cannot sustain it. Precipitation from Nuwakot district from 1985 to 2010 data shows very, very scary results. If this trend continues, almost from 2,500 millimeter annual rainfall to almost less than 1,000 millimeter rainfall in a year, how can a society survive? How can environmental, ecological system survive? So this is the reality. Dwindling water sources, vanishing springs, poor agricultural lands. On top of that, many other issues, drought, declining crop productivity, crop damage by wildlife. Monkeys are a problem now everywhere in mountain landscape. Farmers are really scared of monkeys because they come to the farm even right after sowing seeds. From any mountain district, if you look at now, farmers will report that monkeys are really a problem. And similarly, animal health condition, disease and pest, invasive plants, landslides, all these kind of natural factors, anthropogenic factors, and also labor shortage. 8 million people leaving the country, all the young ones, to work in other countries. This brings multitudes of agricultural problems in this country, from declining agricultural productivity to labor shortage, lack of irrigation, lack of agricultural marketing, land degradation, fragmentation, trade treaties, poor agricultural infrastructure, you name it. So from this kind of agricultural condition, the society is already experiencing a serious degradation, in fact, where 25% population is below the poverty line, 41% children suffer from stunting and chronic malnutrition. Well, this public debt is now 10 billion based on yesterday's report. There is $6 billion here, but now it has reached to 10 billion. Per capita debt, 32,000. So with these kind of economic indicators, how we can rejuvenate or how we can restore our agricultural system so that we can contribute to economic growth of the country. The secret here is definitely agribusiness. Again, to restore agriculture, to revive the growth or to increase the growth of agriculture lies on agribusiness. That's the mismatch of this government on historic 70 years time. Because incentives are given for the farmers, low interest rate, free supplies, subsidies 75%, 80%. Of course, irrigation projects were critical, but the completion rate seems to be very minimal. But agribusiness, have you heard about any big push on agribusiness? What happened to agro industries? Do we have any institution at the WODA level that supports agribusiness? None. So agribusiness basically encompasses from inputs, commercial agriculture production, agro-industrial packaging, processing, storage, and marketing, and of course services also. So from input supplies or farm supplies to all these spectrum of production, marketing, packaging, storage, services, research and innovation, everything comes under agribusiness. So this spectrum definitely offers us great opportunities for bankers, for investors, for private businesses, for corporates. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Agriculture is $2 billion industry right now here. That money is going out from this country every year. So, in each spectrum now, there are tremendous opportunities that any private entrepreneur, private businesses, corporate businesses can fit in. In input supplies, farm supplies, we have a tremendous opportunities for organic fertilizers, organic pesticides, tools and equipment, seeds, irrigation water, storage materials, feed, petroleum products. Some joint ventures just on farm supply production, land banking, land pooling, contact farming, trading and sorting facilities, value addition, cold storage. Rice dryers are very important investment portfolios. Without drying properly, the post-harvest loss becomes very, very high. And in Nepal, 30% of food loss occurs after harvest, 30%. So these are another very promising investment areas. Similarly in marketing, transportation facilities, product handling and deliveries, market outlets, collection centers play very big role in this marketing information. Cooperatives, all these incorporate. As we saw from this Indian citation, most cooperatives have resource limitation, they have less capacity, they have less knowledge, so they are learning. Whereas private sector have better competitiveness in terms of their knowledge, decision making, they have access to the capital. And if we can bring these two sectors, cooperatives and corporates, into the same arena, same platform, then it will trigger agricultural growth in this country. Of course, the cooperatives are better fit at the local level because of land fragmentation, small land holding, production constraint. Our agriculture requires or demands, the cooperatives or consolidations or grassroots level of production system. Whereas at the regional and national level, where we need more businesses, more trucking, packaging, storage, more investment, cooperative cannot handle that in general terms. Few cooperatives may be able to handle it, but not all. So there, the corporate businesses play a bigger role. So having a synergy or vertical and horizontal integration of cooperatives and corporates, we can tackle both the grassroots level production as well as the national and regional markets and eventually the global access or export of our commodities. And I like to bring this one word here, Ostaja resources. This might be new for some of you, but maybe not new for many of you. Ostaja means 8 job. Jal, Jamin, Jungle, Jadibuti, Janashakti, Janavar, Jarajuhi, and Jalabayu. So agricultural production requires to understand and to take into account of all these 8 resources to be successful. So through this vertical and horizontal integration of cooperatives and corporates, Nepal can really make a transformation in agriculture, including women emancipation. This is very appealing to me. Professor Madhukar Shamsher Jabaraju, he wrote me all these things here. And then it struck me a lot. We have been talking about women empowerment, empowerment, and empowerment. It's not just the empowerment. Women empowerment is not the point. It's women emancipation is what we are looking for. And women, now given this 8 million people out of the country, women are taking the burden of childbearing. They are taking the burden of agriculture. They are taking the burden of taking care of their land. They are taking the burden of even taking care of this society now. And government, why not understand this very, very important point, the crisis that this country has in a historic time. It was probably not ever in the past, maybe it will not happen any in the future. Right now, 8 million people, 1/3 of the population is out of this country, all the youth. And then in the villages, there are only mostly women and children and old age people. And these are the women who are just, just handling these rural businesses. So through the government having technologies, irrigation facilities, credit, targeted to the women, agro-processing industries, skill development, and even setting up this child care nurseries, and also developing skills on women, on construction, processing, entrepreneurship. What is wrong for the government to allocate, let's say, 10 arab of rupees for women emancipation? And that creates the base of our rural economy. Thank you, Professor Madhukar sir, for this kind of beautiful insight into this women emancipation. Now, I'd like to bring you to this very important concept. This is globalized economy. It's a globalization. This is the world of competitiveness. If we cannot compete, we perish. We cannot survive. There is no free lunch in this world. You may get for 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, but the free lunches will never appear for a long time. So, looking at this Michael Porter's 4-diamond model from Harvard Business School back in 1998, what Michael Porter says, there are 4 factors here. Farm strategy, structure and rivalry, factor condition, supporting industries, and demand condition. These are the 4 diamonds. These are the 4 factors that creates national competitiveness of industries. I know many of you are in the business sector here, finance sector, so this model is not unfamiliar to you. But this fits very well on what I am saying. So, competition is the key. Just looking at Japan, Honda, Toyota, Suzuki, you name, all these cars produced by Japanese company. And then they are out-competing almost all car industries globally. Why? Because they have intense competition within the nation. And that's how they enhance their capability, competitiveness, and they beat out the rival, the competitor outside their country. So rivalry could be within the same country. If a corporate makes investment on this agricultural development, there could be some rivalry right here. That's not bad. The competition makes product cheaper, competition makes product high quality, competition brings responsibility. Those who cannot compete, they will fade away. That's fine. But in Nepal, I tell you this, the competitor is not within this country right now. It is outside Nepal's political border, and that's India. Agricultural competition must focus with Indian product because 64% of our import is from India. So how do we compete with Indian product? 2 things, price and product differentiation. Our product must be cheaper than Indian product. Price and product differentiation, our product must stand out better than Indian product. How can we do that? Well, we have to do a good job on production, lower cost, and price differentiation. Product differentiation.
Next thing can be branding.
Branding, but the product differentiation. Branding, of course, you need that. Otherwise, you don't get into the market. Thank you. So the product differentiation, one very, very high possibility for us is organic product. Nepal is automatically set. Nepal is ecologically set, agriculturally set for organic production. And India's product, Bihar and UP, they have no advantage of organic production as compared to Nepal. So that's the secret for us to revive our agriculture and outcompete Indian products, organic agriculture. Now, with this rivalry, our factor conditions should be met. That means our natural factor, our infrastructure, our other logistic support should be paid attention to for competitiveness. Similarly, demand condition. We already said that we have $2 billion worth of demand in this country already for agriculture. That's very, very high supporting condition. This supporting industries is very important for agricultural industries to be successful. If we do not have other industries, for example, health support system or research and innovation system, we cannot move forward. Or some other industries, they demand agricultural commodities or they support agricultural production. In the absence of those, cannot move forward. But this, to summarize them, there could be some chance factor like natural disaster that may lose the competitiveness of our industries, or some terrorist attacks, and the government factors like government policies, industry regulations, government's role, government's perception in agricultural development will also impact this competitiveness. So by considering this, my Poudels 4-diamond model, any investment we make, any corporate we set up, the goal is to bring national competitiveness for the industry. So in this context, when we have a company or a corporate conglomerate, several questions come in mind now. Because the creation, organization, and management of a company is the fundamental thing. How we create it, how we organize, how do we manage. That determines how the company operates within the national context. So many questions arise. How should a company be financed? What relationship should exist between the government, cooperatives, and corporate? How should the corporate be organized and managed? How to develop price competitiveness and product differentiation? How to harmonize production, processing, packaging, storage, and marketing? And how to achieve global competitiveness? These are very strong questions, in fact, we need to think about, before we put money, set up a corporate to enhance our agricultural production. So for agricultural production at the local level or national and regional level, Oster's framework is fundamental. Without understanding the soil condition, availability of irrigation water, climatic condition, availability of manpower necessary, or improved seeds, improved livestock. If we don't take into account any of these factors and we get a company set for agricultural production, we'll run into the same problem of this agricultural failure. So having a joint venture or this corporate conglomerate establishment with the vertical and horizontal integration with cooperatives in the country will lead this nation to a better world. It will create a strong relationship, connection between producers, landowners, cooperatives, corporates, government agencies, marketing, and everything. That's the disconnect right now. The producers are not connected to industries, to agencies, or agribusiness. And this corporate initiative will also enhance food security, food safety, food quality. In fact, our food system must be of the international level. How the food is produced, how the food is handled, how the food is stored. And this initiative will increase investment from private sector, import substitution, infrastructural development, and then it will create sustainable agriculture and natural resource development. And before I conclude, this global competitiveness is again very important for cooperatives. Out of these 34,000 cooperatives, if they come to the point to compete global market, their competitiveness must be increased, enhanced. And that is possible through this cooperative integration. So in conclusion, I'd like to summarize that Nepalese agriculture is in a very disaster mode. It's a disaster. From the production, from the processing, even from the quality point of view now. The chemical use, pesticide use, and toxin build-up during the storage. Many factors are there that agriculture sector is not able to handle. And of course, import substitution. And the whole agricultural development in this country revolves around this Ashtaja framework. The manpower, soil quality, climate, crops, livestock. And by understanding all of this real grassroots condition, it's an imperative for us to bring private sector on agricultural production, agro-business, export. And incentives must be there for any, not only for households who produce agricultural commodities, but also for agro-entrepreneurs, industries, private sector, cooperatives, businesses, and everything. So to bring this corporate in agriculture, definitely the major issue is we need to be very clear on the modality of creation, organization, and management of a company. Because once we create, once we manage, our operational background, operational guidelines will follow. So this is very important. And I bring this point here because now we are on the onset of this fourth industrial revolution. We have gone through steam engine, the first industrial revolution. We went through electricity, the second industrial revolution. We went through now IT, electronics, the third industrial revolution. And now we are entering into this, the fourth industrial revolution, which is, they call it additive manufacturing, which is the digital data that is generated from this third industrial revolution will be used in making decisions, connecting physical, biological, and digital aspect in this fourth revolution. And it will change this world that we have never thought about in that scale. You might have heard about this robotics, artificial intelligence, now gene editing. Now we can think about that the people or crop or animal will lose their identity. They will be changed. The bad gene will be gone. Hopefully the good gene will come in there. Different traits will develop. Robots will be everywhere. I heard that in Japan, for the next Olympic, they are already manufacturing robots, security robots in USA to safeguard all these Olympic there. And I was talking to some of my friends, what will happen after 15 years? Dr. Romia is here. I told them maybe in our subdivision there will be robots, providing security during the night. "3D printing. This is another amazing thing. 3D printing, just by using digital data, converting into 3D model, and then manufacturing from there. I was reading that China produced a house through this 3D printing technology worth just $5,000. 3D printing, it just amazes me. The idea is that, using a printer, you can make a button. You can make a laser printer. You manufacture your product using a printer. We have never thought about that. Well, we never thought this cell phone, can do so many things in the past, but now we have in our pockets. So this 3D printing is another amazing thing that will change the world. Nanotechnologies, etc. Biotechnology. So now this means the world is changing in a scale that we have never thought. And how the business venture we are talking here, the cooperatives and corporates, will position itself on this fourth industrial revolution. That is the key. We cannot be followers. Because if we just look back in the 70s and 80s and develop our business plan, we are always 100 years behind. We have to look at this new revolution and then position ourselves in investment, whether we go through robotics, we go through artificial intelligence, gene editing, mapping, nanotechnology, biotechnology, and use these technology in agricultural development. But one key thing is that we cannot forget the smallholder mixed farming system. That's our nucleus of agriculture. So we have a challenge. In one hand, we have this many concepts coming, factory farming, vertical farming, even having this stem cell burger coming up in London now. On the other hand, we are talking about organic farming, circular farming, ecological farming, climate smart farming. How do we marry between the concept of those sustainable agriculture and the industrial fourth revolution, the fourth industrial revolution? That is a big question, but we have to think about, because we will not be able to prevent the coming up of this, the fourth industrial revolution. So with this, before I conclude, I like to really thank you, Professor Madhukar Shamsher Jabaraju. When I met him, and he encouraged me, he said, you need to give a talk. Then I said, to whom? He said, all the CEOs, governors, bankers, politicians. I said, no, I'm not that kind of person. Madhukar sir said, no, let's do it. I said, okay, let's try. And here I am now. So thank you so much for encouraging or picking me up. Okay. And similarly, I like to extend my sincere thanks to Mr. Sivanji and Mexji. Sivanji, where is Sivanji? Oh, he's somewhere there, right? I mean, without their assistance and support, it would not have been possible. And also, I like to express my sincere thanks to all participants. In your busy schedule, you set aside some time and you came over here. I know I found it very difficult to move in Kathmandu, very hot. And then, congested traffic, but you manage it and you are here. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And my sincere thanks go to Professor Basu Sharma, who is a businessman, business professor at University of New Brunswick in Canada. And he really helped me out. When I talked to him after my PowerPoint, he said, no, you are right on target there. Well, I'm not a business professor, but I'm talking about business. So these concepts, but I do see, I'm a son of agriculturist. By professionally, I'm an agricultural scientist. I'm a soil scientist. I have been working on climate change adaptation. I have been working with the smallholder farmer. So I can talk about agriculture and I know where the problem lies. So that's how I could bring this problem to you for these business conglomerates, corporates, cooperatives, private sector. And last but not the least, my sincere thanks goes to the media persons. They were here, they interviewed, and for disseminating these thoughts and ideas, which are very important for agricultural development and management in Nepal. With this, I'd like to thank you so much again, and thank you for your attendance and attention. If you have any question, I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you. Please.
म समूह पोख्छु म बिजनेस टेलिभिजनको फाउन्डर हुँ अलिकति अब त्यसमा मिसम्याच भयो मेरो कल बाहिरबाट एउटा कल आएको नि बाहिरबाट मिसम्याच भएर तर यिनीहरूको एकदमै प्रिसाइसली दिनुभएको छ हामी कहाँ अब हाम्रो दुईजना पूर्व अर्थमन्त्री यहाँ हुनुहुन्छ र जय आई थिङ्क अब यो इकोनोमिक सेन्समा पनि अलिकति अर्थ लाग्छ। हामी कहाँ चाहिँ प्रब्लम मात्र सर्यो भने जस्तो यहाँबाट 2 खर्बको अहिले जुन फिगर दिनुभयो इम्पोर्ट हुन्छ भनेर, त्यो प्रब्लम चाहिँ हामीले हाम्रो एग्रो बेस्ड प्रोडक्टको इकोसिस्टमलाई कहिलेकाहीँ चाहिँ एग्रोकल्चरिस्ट जसरी घोच्नुपर्ने हुन्छ गभर्मेन्टले, त्यो काम नगर्नको कारणले पनि भइरहेछ। त्यसको मेन कारण के हो भने सरले याद गर्नुभयो भने जब बाली पाक्ने सिजन हुन्छ अहिले त्यो सेटेलाइट मोडलमा दिइसक्नु भएको छ, र मेटेरियल यहाँबाट लाने अनि अलिकति त्यसलाई फर्निस गरेर चाहिँ भ्यालु एड गरेर नेपालमा ल्याउने। यसमा चाहिँ सरकारले क्लियरली रोक्न के सक्छ भने मङ्सिर पुस माघ फागुन अथवा माघसम्म 3 महिनाको लागि नेपालबाट एग्रो प्रोडक्ट एक्सपोर्टलाई रोकिदिन सक्छ। अब त्यसलाई चाहिँ अब ट्यारिफ ब्यारियर, नन ट्यारिफ ब्यारियर अथवा अरू गभर्मेन्टको इन्स्ट्रुमेन्टलहरू युज गरेर गर्न सक्छ। त्यसमा चाहिँ ठुलो रूपमा हामीले गभर्मेन्टले इनिसिएटिभ लिन सकिन्छ। अर्को चाहिँ नेपालकै एग्रो बेस्ड इन्डस्ट्रीहरूलाई चाहिँ प्रमोट गर्नलाई सरकारको खास रोल देखिँदैन। यसमा मोनेटरी पोलिसीमा एग्रिकल्चरलाई छुट्टै स्पेसल भनौँ न सब्सिडाइज लोन छ, तर पनि त्यो लिने कसले भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ जग्गा किन्नलाई मान्छे लिइरहेको छ। एग्रो बिजनेस भनेर लिने त्यो भनेपछि सस्तो ऋण पायो, 500 रुपियाँ लिइहाल्ने, 200 रुपियाँ लिइहाल्ने, त्यो जग्गा चाहिँ भोलि भाउ बढ्छ कि भनेर उसको रियल्ली त्यो एग्रिकल्चरै बिजनेस गर्ने अथवा नेपाली डेभलप गर्ने भन्ने सेन्स देखिँदैन। मैले चाहिँ गभर्मेन्ट रोल एउटा देखिरहेको छु। अर्को चाहिँ सरको अहिलेको कुरामा मेरो जहिले पनि क्वेसन के रहन्छ भने हामी फरेन इन्भेस्टमेन्ट यति गयो भनिरहेको छौँ कि अमेरिकनहरू फरेन इन्भेस्टमेन्ट छ कि छैन नि त। आज वर्ल्डका टप इकोनोमी कुनै पनि कन्ट्रीको कुरा गर्दाखेरि आर दे इन फरेन इन्भेस्टमेन्ट अर नट। मात्र फरक के हो भने हाम्रो लो इन्डमा काम गर्न गयो तर हाई इन्डमा छ, त्यति मात्र कुरा हो। म चाहिँ के देख्छु भनेदेखि उसले गाउँमा बसेर त्यही एक्जिस्टिङ टेक्नोलोजी र एक्जिस्टिङ सोसल स्टिगमाभित्र बसेर काम गर्दाखेरिको उसको प्रोडक्टिभिटी र ऊ गल्फमा गएर उसले भाडै किन्न नजाओस्, बाउलै किन्न नभोकोस्, त्यसले पाउने प्रोडक्टिभिटीमा यदि डिफ्रेन्स छ भने भ्यालु एडिसन इज द फर्स्ट। अर्को कुरो हाम्रो एजुकेसन सिस्टम एकदम डाउन छ भने किसिम भनौँ न, सबभन्दा वर्स्ट भनेको टिचर हुन्छ। टिचर जो पनि गाली गर्छ, यु अल्सो बिलोङ टु द सेम प्रोफेसन, आई युज टु बी अल्सो टिचर। अनि राम्रो एजुकेसन नभए कमसेकम उसले के देख्दो रहेछ भने मेरो रिडिङ है कतारमा होस् अथवा दुबईमा होस्, सबै हेरेको साथी उसले जेब्रा क्रसिङ छ होइन यहीँबाट कुदौँ भन्दाखेरि आफ्नो अगाडि चाहिँ साथीलाई उडाइदिएको देखेपछि त्यसले जिन्दगीमा जेब्रा क्रसिङ हुन बाहिरबाट बाटो क्रस गर्दैन जस्तो लाग्यो। त्यो अलिक महँगो हो तर पार्ट चाहिँ राम्रो शिक्षा हो। एटलिस्ट गाउँको राम्रो एजुकेसन नभए पनि एउटा एडप्सनको पार्ट र अर्बान एडप्सन मेनली त्यो पार्ट चाहिँ राम्रो छ शिक्षा जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई। अनि त्यो भयो हुनाले चाहिँ त्यो गाउँको प्रोडक्टिभिटी अनलेस एन्ड अन्टिल यु मेक हायर वैश्विक बजारमा जानु चाहिँ बेटर हो कि जस्तो लाग्छ है। मैले अलिकति पोइन्ट हेर्नु मात्रै गरेँ।
तपाईँको पोइन्टलाई एउटा पोइन्ट के ध्यान दिनुपर्छ भने यो ल्यान्ड डिग्रेडेसन भन्ने फ्याक्टर छ नि, इट इज भेरी सिरियस फ्याक्टर। तपाईँको 1 इन्च सोइल बन्नको लागि हजारौँ लाख रुपियाँ 10,000 20,000 वर्ष लाग्छ हेर्नुहोस् है। त्यो सोइल चाहिँ तपाईँको एक रेन इभेन्टले बगाएर लैजान्छ त्यसलाई राम्रो म्यानेज गरेन भने। अब यो हाम्रो गाउँहरूतिरको प्रब्लम पनि के छ भन्नुलाई भने जबसम्म हामीले त्यसलाई सिस्टमलाई हामीले मेन्टेन गऱ्यौँ, राम्रो गऱ्यौँ भने तपाईँको एग्रिकल्चरल ल्यान्ड बस्यो। जब 2-4 वर्ष 5 वर्ष छोड्दैछ रुख आउने, तपाईँको इन्भेसिभ प्लान्टहरू आउने, ल्यान्ड डिग्रेडेसन हुने, अनि तपाईँले त्यसलाई फेरि ब्याकमा ल्याएर एग्रिकल्चर प्रोडक्टिभिटी बढाउनको लागि तपाईँले अर्को 5-7 वर्ष पर्खिनुपर्छ त्यहाँ हेर्नुहोस् है। त्यसो भएर यो के छ भने हाम्रो जुन सिस्टम अरू कन्ट्रिजमा ठिक छ, आफ्नो प्रोडक्सन सिस्टमलाई जाने इम्प्याक्ट नपर्ने गरेर तपाईँको पपुलेसन आउट माइग्रेट भएको छ, काम गरेका छन्, द्याट्स फाइन। फिलिपिन्सको मान्छे पनि टर्न अरब जान्छ। एग्रिकल्चरल ल्यान्ड जुन छ नि माउन्टेनको अथवा तराईकै पनि, अब यसलाई कसरी हामी भ्यालुको रूपमा राखौँ यसलाई। अहिले 1,41,000 हेक्टेयर ल्यान्ड तपाईँको 2001 सालदेखि 2017 सालको बिचमा कन्भर्ट भएको छ तपाईँको जाने एग्रिकल्चरबाट अरू युजमा। 1,41,000 हेक्टेयर भनेको धेरै ठुलो जमिन हो। अब त्यो त्यसरी ब्याक भयो नि अरू ल्यान्ड युजमा, हामीसँग चाहिँ ल्यान्डको नै कन्स्ट्यान्ट हुन्छ यो कन्ट्रीमा। यहाँ सुइटेबल ल्यान्ड हाउसिङको लागि पनि छैन धेरै, सुइटेबल ल्यान्ड एग्रिकल्चरको लागि पनि छैन धेरै। त्यस कारण यो माइग्रेसनले जुन हाम्रो एग्रिकल्चरल ल्यान्ड डिग्रेडेसनमा कन्ट्रिब्युट गरेको छ अथवा तपाईँको प्रोडक्टिभिटीमा पनि तपाईँको त्यसले नेगेटिभ इम्प्याक्ट पाएको छ, यो सिरियस फ्याक्टर चाहिँ डेफिनेटली हो। अनि एग्रिकल्चरलाई अर्को पोइन्ट के राख्नुपर्छ भने एक महिनामा आएर 1 वर्षमा आएर तपाईँको प्रोडक्टिभिटी माथि जान्छ भन्ने होइन। अर्ग्यानिक फार्मिङको लागि 5 वर्षसम्म तपाईँले चाहिँ प्रोडक्टिभिटी निकाल्न सक्नुहुन्न। हेर्नुहोस्, तपाईँलाई प्रिमियम प्राइस चाहिन्छ। आफ्टर 5 years तपाईँले सिन्सियरली राम्रोसँग सोयल म्यानेज गर्ने, क्रप म्यानेज गर्ने, सम्पूर्ण राम्रो गर्ने, आफ्टर 5 years यु माइट क्रस द थ्रेसहोल्ड एन्ड देन यु मे स्टार्ट गेटिङ सम मनी आउट अफ द्याट सिस्टम। त्यसैले एग्रिकल्चर सिस्टम भनेको यो अलिकति कम्प्लिकेटेड सिस्टम नै हो। एक फेर नेग्लेक्टेड भएपछि खेतको गराल भत्केपछि फेरि बनाउन गाह्रो हुन्छ नि त है।
म चाहिँ एकदमै ग्रासरुटबाट सरलाई क्वेसन सोध्न चाहेँ अथवा क्लियरिफिकेसन चाहेँ। जस्तै हामी अहिले अग्रि बिजनेस गर्नु पर्यो अथवा नेपालमा कृषिलाई धेरै महत्त्व दिनु पर्यो भनेर हामी भनिरहेको छौँ र नेपालमा यति महत्त्वपूर्ण र यति जाने बुझेका हामी सबैजना भइराखेको अवस्थामा सिजनमा मल पाउँदैन। रियालिटी त त्यही छ। हामीले जतिसुकै ठुलो कुरा गरे पनि असारमा धान रोप्नुपर्ने साउनमा मल आइपुग्छ। अहिले सबैले गरेर एउटा कुरा त्यहाँनिर छ, टाइममा बिउ पाउँदैनन्। अनि बिउ नपाएको कारणले हामी इभन म किसानकै छोरा भएको हुनाले हामीले बजारमा जे पाउँछ त्यो बिउ रोप्नु पर्यो। अभियसली त्यसले प्रोडक्सन त कम गर्छ। यो दुईवटा प्रब्लम एकदम सिम्पल कुरा भयो। अनि मलाई चाहिँ के लाग्छन् भन्दाखेरि सरकारले पनि इजी मनी क्विक मनी खोज्यो। अनि सरकारसँगै हामी सिक्दाखेरि हामीले पनि के खोज्यौँ? इजी मनी क्विक मनी। ओहो यो के अरे राजस्व यति उठ्यो उति उठ्यो। जब इम्पोर्ट गर्दाखेरि उठ्ने राजस्वमा हामी खुसी हुन्छौँ भने त्यो त इजी मनी हो नि, त्यो क्विक मनी पनि हो। अहिले आइसक्यो। अब हामी पनि त्यही कुरामा अलि गइरहेको छौँ कि जस्तो हामीलाई फिलिङ भयो। त्यो किन भनेको भन्दा अहिले हाम्रो नेपालमै निर्वाहमुखी कृषि छ। मेरो बाजेले खेती किसानी गरेर मेरो बाउलाई हुर्कायो, मेरो बाउले खेती किसानी गरेर मलाई हुर्कायो र मैले धेरै त पाइरहेको छैन। त्यो निर्वाहमुखीको ठाउँमा हामीले व्यवसायिक किन हुन सकेन त्यसतर्फ त्यति धेरै ध्यान गयो जस्तो लागेन। अघि हाम्रो सरले भनिहाल्नु भयो कृषि लोन भनेर भनेको छ। इभन आजको दिनमा यहाँ ब्याङ्कर्सहरू पनि धेरै होला अथवा कोही छ भने म सिधै के क्वेसन सोध्न चाहेँ भन्दाखेरि कृषि लोन राष्ट्रिय वाणिज्य ब्याङ्कले 2.33 दिन्छन्, अरूले 7-8 को भित्रमा दिन्छन्। तर रियालिटीमा त्यो गएको छ त सरले भन्नुभएको जस्तो जग्गा किनमा चाहिँ खट्टै आउँछ। अनि मलाई कृषि लोन दिने बाटो भएको जग्गा खोज्ने अलि हाँसोयुक्त भयो नि। जब म किसान भएर मेरो आजको दिनमा पनि 10 रोपनीमा खेती भइरहेछन् भने त्यहाँ गोरेतो बाटो एक ठाउँमा पुग्यो होला, 8 फिटको बाटो छैन, त्यो कारणले मैले दिन सकिनँ। अनि कसरी त्यो कृषि लोन प्रपर युज हुन्छ? दोस्रो नम्बर त्यहाँ भयो। अनि जुन अघि सरले इन्सेन्टिभ दिँदाखेरिको कुरा भन्नुभयो, इन्सेन्टिभ त एकदम राम्रो कुरा पनि हो। अब अहिले प्रधानमन्त्री कृषि परियोजना पनि छ। अब त्यसैकोमा यहाँ मिडियाको साथ सर हुनुभएकोले मैले सिधै के भने भन्दाखेरि कोल्ड स्टोरेजका कुरा आए। प्रधानमन्त्री कृषि परियोजनाले कोल्ड स्टोरेज बनाउनलाई भनेर 20 देखि 35 लाख रुपियाँ मात्रै दिन्छ। त्यतिले त बन्दैन। एकदम सानो एउटा पकेट क्षेत्र जस्तै हाम्रो भक्तपुरकै उदाहरण एउटा तपाईँलाई दिन चाहेँ। सुडालमा आलु जोन भनेर राखेको छ। आलु जोन भनेपछि त्यो सुपर जोन र जोनको कुरा भयो। त्यहाँ मोर देन 30,000 बोरा भन्दा बढी आलु उत्पादन हुन्छन् र मोर देन 500 बोरा भन्दा बढी त जान्छ। त्यति स्टोरेज गर्न पनि मिनिमम पनि 70 देखि 80 लाखको कोल्ड स्टोरेज चाहिन्छ। अब दिन्छ 20 देखि 35 लाख। अनि त्यो के गर्छ? चलाख मान्छेहरूले ल्यायो त्यो इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर नबनाइकन अहिले मोबाइल यो कोल्ड स्टोरेज बन्छन्। 1 वर्षदेखि 1.5 वर्षमा त्यो फेरि कहाँ जान्छ थाहा छैन। यो कुरा प्रत्यक्ष रूपमा सबैले देखिरहेको छ, तर त्यसको फलोअप भएन। अनि हामी प्रपर मान्छेले त त्यो पाइरहेको अवस्था छैन। एकातिर त्यहाँ त्यो छन् भनेदेखि अब हामीले खेतमा रुख रोप्यौँ। किन पहिला अब मैले बाजेसँग पनि सोधेँ, मैले रुख किन रोपिराख्नु भएको भन्दा चराचुरुङ्गीहरू त्यहाँ आउँछन्, रुखमा बस्छन्। अनि हामीले त्यो धान रोप्दाखेरि किराहरू आउँछन्, त्यो किरा चाहिँ उनीहरूले टिपेर खान्छन्। त्यो कारणले मल हामीले पहिला देशी मल लगाउनु पर्दैन, यो अर्ग्यानिक मल बनाउनु, त्यो कम्पोस्ट मल लगाए पुग्छ। अहिले यो देशी मल लगाउनु पर्नुको कारण चाहिँ यो हो भनेर भन्यो। अनि त्यसपछि हामी रुख रोपौँ त भने। अनि रुख रोपौँ भन्दाखेरि बुवाले के भन्यो? किन रोप्नु पर्यो? हामीले रोपिसकेपछि यो काट्न हुँदैन। नेपालमा आफ्नै खेतमा रोपेको रुख काट्यो भने पनि कानुन लाग्छ भनेपछि अब मैले काट्न नमिल्ने, काट्न नपाउने रुख मैले किन रोप्ने? अब हरियो वन नेपालको धन भनेर अहिले वनले त्यत्रो लिइरहेछन्। मैले काट्न पाउने भएन, मैले रुख रोप्ने हो। अब काट्न चाहिँ नपाउने, जमिन चाहिँ त्यतिकै उगाटेर बसाउनु पर्ने भएछ त, त्यो पनि भ्यालु एडेड पनि भएन। एउटा त्यहाँनिर पनि एउटा भयो। अनि अघि सरले भन्नुभएको यो प्राइभेट रूपमा स्मल इरिगेसन पनि हुनुपर्छ। यसमा एउटा गजबको घटा छ। म 5 खालमा मेरो कोल्ड स्टोरेज छ, 5 खालमा हामी फार्मिङ पनि गर्छौँ। अनि त्यहाँ त्यो अब यही अहिलेकै 10 रुपियाँ तिरेर त त्यो फार्मिङमा पानी तानेर दिँदा त्यति भाइबल नहुँदो रहेछ, अथवा त्यो प्रोफिटेबल नहुँदो रहेछ। त्यो प्रोफिटेबल नहुने बित्तिकै यो निर्वाहमुखी नै भयो, व्यवसायमुखी भएन। अनि प्राधिकरणमा जाँदाखेरि यो हाम्रो अलिकति सस्तोमा तपाईँले दिनु पऱ्यो होला, हुन्छ 2 रुपियाँमा पाउँछ भनेदेखि नेपालमा कस्तो कानुन रहेछ भन्दाखेरि यदि तपाईँले सिँचाइ गर्नको लागि बिजुली लियो भने 2 रुपियाँमा पाउँछ, घर बनाउनु घरको लागि भयो 9 रुपियाँ जान्छ, 10 रुपियाँ पऱ्यो भने ल ठिक छ, त्यसो भए यही लिनु पऱ्यो भनेर हामी 20 रोपनीको खेतीको लागि निवेदन दियौँ। उहाँहरू के भन्नुहुन्छ, तपाईँको घर बन्नु पऱ्यो नि, त्यहाँ पक्की घर भयो भने हामीले मिटर दिन पाइयो, नभए दिन नपाउने। अनि खेती गर्ने पक्की घर भयो भने त्यो 2 रुपियाँमा पाउने, नभए नपाउने भइसकेपछि यो त एउटा नीति नियममै फरक पऱ्यो।
पोलिसी कन्फ्लिक्टको कुराहरू हुने है, जुन तपाईँको नेसनल पोलिसी
मैले भन्न खोजेँ यति सानो से सानो कुरा पनि आज 8 वर्ष भयो हामी कराइराखेको, तर त्यो पनि सुविधा हामीले पाइरहेको छैनौँ भने कसरी चाहिँ यो सानसानो
एउटा यहाँलाई म के भन्छु भने एग्रिकल्चर भनेको तपाईँको चाहिँ नि इजिली मनी मेकिङ बिजनेस होइन, इट्स अ भेरी टफ बिजनेस। पहिलो कुरो तपाईँको म भन्छु, म डिरेक्टली इन्भल्भ भएको तपाईँको सेक्रामेन्टो भ्याली युएसएको क्यालिफोर्नियामा। सेक्रामेन्टो भ्याली भनेको युएसएमा जाने तपाईँको फर्स्ट अर सेकेन्ड मोस्ट प्रोसेसिङ टोमेटो प्रड्युस गर्ने भ्याली हो। हेर्नुहोस् है, टोमेटो कति $multi-billion इन्डस्ट्री हो युएसएको। सेक्रामेन्टो भ्यालीमा तपाईँको त्यो टोमेटो प्रड्युस गर्दाखेरि जुन मेरो रिसर्चमा पनि मैले डकुमेन्ट गरेको छु, तपाईँको यो साल तपाईँले टोमेटो लाउनुहुन्छ, 1 हेक्टेयरमा तपाईँले जाने 80 मेट्रिक टन टोमेटो फलाउनुहुन्छ। त्यहाँ सब 80 मेट्रिक टन, जुन जहाँ कि हामी यहाँ 15-20 मेट्रिक टनभन्दा फलाउन सक्दैनौँ। 80 मेट्रिक टन टोमेटो फलाउँदाखेरि 1 एकरबाट 2.5 एकरको 1 हेक्टेयर हुन्छ। हेर्नुहोस् है, $150-200 भन्दा नेट प्रफिट हुँदैन त्यहाँको किसानलाई। हेर्नुहोस् अब 1 एकरको नेट प्रफिट तपाईँको त्यो आउटपुट इनपुट सबै लगाएर आफ्नो स्यालेरी राखेर सबै हेर्दा $150-200 पनि हार्डली हुन्छ। हेर्नुहोस् है। अब हेर्नुहोस् अर्को इन्ट्रेस्टिङ पोइन्ट, तपाईँको एउटा किसानले $150 पर एकरको जाने नेट प्रफिटमा काम गरेको छ त्यहाँ, त्यो तपाईँको जाने उसले 5,000 एकड़ 10,000 एकड़ 3,000 एकरमा काम गरेको छ र मात्रै $2-4 लाख $500,000 बनाउँछ त्यो साल। नेक्स्ट इयर तपाईँले टोमेटो ग्रो गर्नु त सक्नुहुन्न। अनि टोमेटो पछि तपाईँ स्याफफ्लावरमा जानुहुन्छ, कोर्नमा जानुहुन्छ, त्यतिखेर उनीहरू पैसा घाटा लाग्छ। हेर्नुहोस् अब त्यही पनि टोमेटोलाई पर्खिनको लागि क्रपिङ सिस्टममा दे हेभ टु गो फर कोर्न फर स्याफफ्लावर, अनि मात्रै टोमेटोमा आउँछ र फेरि पैसा कमाउँछ। हेर्नुहोस् अब सुगर क्यान हेर्नुहोस्, लुजियानामा तपाईँको जाने सुगर क्यान अर्को मेजर कमोडिटी हो, त्यसको नेट प्रफिट हेर्नुभयो भने पनि त्यो $150-200 भन्दा बढी छैन पर एकर। हेर्नुहोस् अब तर सधैँ सुगर क्यान लाएर पनि हुँदैन। एकचोटि सुगर क्यान लाएपछि 3टा बाली लिन्छ, अनि सोयाबिनतिर गयो, सोयाबिनको अर्कै मार्केट हुन्छ, कोर्नको अर्कै मार्केट हुन्छ। तर फार्मरले आफूले जुन त्यो क्रपिङ सिस्टमबाट तपाईँको जब पुरा नलेज त तपाईँको मेहनत लगाएर काम गर्छन् नि, अनि 2-3 वर्षको साइकलमा मात्रै तपाईँको पकेटमा पैसा आउँछ। हेर्नु सबै त्यसकारण एग्रिकल्चर भनेको भेरी च्यालेन्जिङ बिजनेस हो। यो हाम्रो नेपालमा के छ भने भइरहेको सम्पूर्ण स्मल फार्मरले नै हाम्रो एग्री बिजनेस अन्टरप्रिनरसिप डेभलप गर्छ, हामी पैसा जताततै लगाउँ भन्ने मोडालिटीले हामी बिग्रेका हौँ। यो हेर्नुहोस्, त्यसको लागि नै एउटा मेजर च्यालेन्ज के हो भने प्राइभेट अन्टरप्रिनरसिप। प्राइभेट सेक्टरले तपाईँको भन्नुहोस् न, अब कन्ट्र्याक्ट फार्मिङको कुरा गरौँ, अब एउटा अमेरिकाकै कुरा गरौँ, टाइसन जुन चिकन छ नि, त्यो अमेरिकाभरि चिकन त्यसले डिस्ट्रिब्युट गर्छ, तर उसै आफैले प्रड्युस गर्ने त होइन, उसले त किसानहरूलाई नै प्रड्युस गराउने हो। कन्ट्र्याक्ट फार्मरहरू छ, उनीहरूको थाउजन्ड्स अफ है, उनीहरूसँग एग्रिमेन्ट गर्छ 20 वर्षको 15 वर्षको, अनि चिकन प्रड्युस भएर आएपछि त्यसलाई प्रोसेसिङ, प्याकेजिङ, स्टोरेज र ट्रान्सपोर्ट गर्छ, बिजनेस चलेको छ। हेर्नुहोस् अब है, त्यसो गरेर यो हाम्रो जुन मोडालिटी छ नि एग्रिकल्चरको, त्यहीँ फ्ल छ। त्यसले गर्दा नै हाम्रो $2 बिलियन को अहिले इम्पोर्ट हुन परिराखेको हो। यो नत्र त 1950s देखि त हामीले एग्रिकल्चरमा इनिसिएटिभ नदिएको त होइन। सरहरू हुनुहुन्छ यहाँ, फाइनान्स मिनिस्टर हुनुभयो दुवैजना, उहाँहरूकै पालामा पनि कति बजेट गयो, कति कामहरू इनिसिएटिभ्सहरू आए,
तपाईँको इन्टिग्रेटेड रुरल डेभलपमेन्ट प्रोजेक्ट भनेर कति प्रोजेक्टहरू 70s मा आए, तर वाइ द इम्प्याक्ट इज नट देयर, वाइ द आउटपुट इज नट देयर? त्यही नै क्वेसन हो आजको। किनभने हामीले एग्री बिजनेसलाई चाहिँ हामीले प्रायोरिटी दिएनौँ, प्राइभेट सेक्टरलाई हामीले इन्गेज गरेनौँ धेरै, जुन रूपमा हुनुपर्ने थियो। र अहिले प्राइभेट सेक्टरको एउटा आई ओपनिङ पोइन्ट के भने, वी हेभ $2 billion इन्डस्ट्री राइट हियर, $2 billion मार्केट इज राइट हियर, सो हाउ क्यान वी क्याप्चर दिस मार्केट? द्याट्स द पोइन्ट। त त्यो हुनासाथ अनि के हुन्छ भने तपाईँको कन्ट्र्याक्ट फार्मिङको कुरा आउँछ। एउटा कर्पोरेटले ल भनौँ म क्यारोटको लागि म चाहिँ नि 1 लाख टन क्यारोट म चाहिँ नि नेपालबाट उत्पादन गर्छु भनेर प्लान आयो भने, अब क्यारोट प्रोडक्सन गर्ने क्षेत्र जान पर्यो, त्यहाँको किसानहरूसँग टाइअप हुनु पर्यो, टेक्नोलोजी लानु पर्यो, समस्याहरू के छन् समाधान गर्नु पर्यो, त्यहाँदेखि त्यो क्यारोटलाई प्रोसेसिङ, प्याकेजिङ, स्टोरेज गरेर डिस्ट्रिब्युट गर्नु पर्यो। त्यसो भएको हुनाले यो एग्रिकल्चर जबसम्म कमोडिटी बेस प्लान आउँदैन, यो ब्ल्याङ्केट पोलिसीले एग्रिकल्चरलाई छुँदैन। त्यसो भएको हुनाले यहाँले ल्याउनु भएको पोइन्ट बहुत जायज पोइन्ट हुन् तिनीहरू, तर पनि यसको चाहिँ नि तपाईँको निकास कहाँ छ भन्दा तपाईँको यो प्राइभेट सेक्टर नै आउनुपर्छ। त्यहाँ हेर्नुहोस्, यो हामीले गभर्मेन्टले मात्रै गरिराखेको छ अहिलेसम्म। साँच्चै भन्ने भने पब्लिक सेक्टरले गर्न खोजेको हो, कहाँ थापेको हो एग्रिकल्चरलाई, तर फेल भयो, सकेन। अब यो चाहिँ अब हाम्रो त्यही न, ब्याङ्कर्सहरू फरवर्ड हुन पर्यो एग्रिकल्चर। हजुर उहाँको क्वेसन, हजुर उहाँको क्वेसन
गर्न आउनुभयो, त्यसलाई धेरै धन्यवाद। यो जुन पनि सरले ल्याउनुभएछ डाइमेन्सनहरू होइन, के चाहिन्छ भने यो कुराहरू एकदमै राम्रो। यो यति मात्रै हामीले यहाँ फलो गर्न सके पनि यो जुन डिफिसिट भइरहेछ 2 बिलियन, त्यो चाहिँ एटलिस्ट 10-15% त हामीले गर्न सकिन्छ। अब यहाँ के कुरा आयो भनेदेखि, अब हामी यहाँ आउँछौँ, सुन्छौँ, जान्छौँ भन्छ, तर अब यसको इम्प्लिमेन्ट गर्ने कसले त? अब ब्याङ्कमा जाने उहाँ भने जस्तै अब त्यो गोरेटो बाटोमा चाहिँ नदिने, ब्याङ्कले चाहिँ उनीहरूको त सोसियल सेक्युरिटी समथिङ गर्दाखेरि उनीहरूले दिनै पर्छ भन्ने बाध्य छ। इनकेस दिएन भने उनीहरूले पेनाल्टी तिर्नुपर्छ है। तर उहाँहरू के गर्नुहुन्छ भने, सायद यहाँ ब्याङ्कहरू थुप्रै होला, उहाँहरूको पोलिसी आफ्नै होला, उहाँहरू पेनाल्टी तिर्नलाई एकदम तयार छ, हामी जस्तो साना उद्यमीलाई दिनलाई तयार छैन है। त्यसैले यसमा मलाई लाग्छ अब यहाँ गभर्मेन्टको पनि धेरै हुनुपर्छ। उनीहरू पेनाल्टी होइन, उनीहरू साँच्चै फिल्डमा गएर गर्नु पर्यो भने एउटा चाहिँ हुनु पर्यो होइन। तपाईँ चाहिँ जेलमा जानु भन्दा त म अर्को धेरै पैसा तिरेर बाहिर बस्छु भने जस्तै भयो है। यो कुरा नम्बर 1 त्यो हो। अर्को साँच्चै नै यहाँ नेपालमा अहिलेलाई हेर्दाखेरि यङ जेनेरेसन त सबै बाहिर छ होइन। अब धेरै हुने भनेको गाउँघरमा गयो भने त्यो गोठहरू होइन, बाख्रा कुखुरा सबै काम गर्ने, इभन करेसाबारको काम गर्ने त महिलै छ, जुन यहाँले भन्नुभयो वुमेन इम्पावरमेन्टको कुराहरू आयो होइन। तर यो गर्दा गर्दै पनि अब बिचौलियाहरू यति छन् कि अब तपाईँ बिहान 4 बजे जानुहोस् त्यो धादिङमा, यति बसर आइरहेको हुन्छ, त्यहाँ त 10-20 रुपियाँ, इभन चितलाङमा है म गएको थिएँ, 10-20 रुपियाँमा काउली ल्याउने, यहाँ चाहिँ 70 रुपिजमा होइन, 80 रुपिज हुने। विदिन यो 1 घन्टा आउँदाखेरि यति बढ्ने यो त भएन है। त्यसमा चाहिँ कुनै फलोअप पनि छैन। सरकारले केही मतलब छैन, दिइरहेको हुन्छ एभ्री टाइम, त्यो बिजनेस प्लस नै दिन्छ होइन, यो सरकारको यति यसको कुनले दिन्छ म हेर्छु होइन, त्यसो दिन्छ, तर दिएको त्यसको इम्प्लिमेन्ट चाहिँ भएको देखिँदैन है। त्यसैले पोलिसीको कुरा चाहिँ यो फर्म चाहिँ यसमा चाहिँ हामीले नगर्ने होला सायद। तर सरको जुन यो छ नि, यो कुरा एकदम इम्पोर्टेन्ट छ। यो मात्रै यस्तो सानोमा ग्यादरिङ नगरिकन सरले एउटा गभर्मेन्टको मान्छेहरू राखेर किन भइरहेछ त हाम्रो यो भने जुन कुरा यो चाहिँ गरिदिनु भयो चाहिँ नम्बर 1 एकदमै राम्रो होला जस्तो लाग्यो। एकदमै टच भयो होइन, हर्टमा टच भयो। यस्तो भएको छ 2 बिलियन त खत्तम भइरहेछ, तर हामी सबै इन्डियाबाट आएर खाइरहेछ। जस्तै हाम्रो यहाँ चाहिँ मेसिनहरू नभएको कारणले सबै के अरे हाम्रो धान गाउँहरू बाहिर गएर फेरि उतैबाट ल्याउँछ भन्दाखेरि हामी कति भनौँ न आफै उत्पादन गर्दाखेरि पनि हामीले लिन सकिरहेको छैन। त्यसैले यस्तो कुराहरूमा ब्याङ्करहरूले पनि ल इन केस अब तराईतिर यस्तो इन्डस्ट्रीहरू खोल्ने भने यति फेसिलिटी दिन्छु, इभन गभर्मेन्ट पनि यति फेसिलिटी दिन्छु भने सायद त्यो अब हामी जस्तो साना उद्यमी होइन, ठुलो उद्यमीले त गरिहाल्छ तुरुन्तै होइन। तर यो कन्सेप्ट चाहिँ भएन जस्तो लाग्यो मलाई।
यहाँलाई मैले एउटा के राखौँ भने जस्तो म लुजियानाको
बिहान मैले 4 बजेदेखि त त्यो प्राइभेट सेक्टर त हो नि, त्यहाँबाट यहाँ ल्याउने होइन। काठमाडौँ ल्याउने, विभिन्न ठाउँमा ल्याउने, हेटौँडा पोखरा सबै ठाउँमा ल्याउने त्यही प्राइभेट सेक्टरले पनि गरिरहेको छ। गाउँको मान्छेहरूले चाहिँ त्यति एवेयर पनि छैन कि हामी जानुपर्छ भन्ने पनि एवेयर छैन। चिनी कोअपरेटिभ भयो भने एउटा गाडी हायर गरेर या समथिङ गरेर उहाँ नै यहाँ डाइरेक्ट आउनु भने त्यो बिचको मान्छेले त खान सकिँदैन नि होइन। तर प्राइभेट सेक्टरलाई दियो भने प्रफिट धेरै हेर्छ। बिना प्रफिट प्राइभेट सेक्टर एक पाइला पनि चल्दैन है। तर हामीले यो त अब सोसियल वर्क त होइन यो होइन। त्यसैले प्राइभेट सेक्टरकै हातमा पऱ्यो भने हामीले यो कन्ज्युमर एज अ कन्ज्युमर हेर्ने हो भने हामीलाई धेरै दुःख भइरहेको छ होइन। तर प्राइभेट सेक्टरले धेरै गरिरहेको छ। अब धान इन्डियामा लाने पनि